Ever since our little days in preschool, Jamie and I haven't gone more than 3 days without crossing paths. But things took a turn when our families decided to set us up for engagement. Lately, he's been ghosting me for a whole year. He blocked all my numbers, and the security at his workplace mentioned that neither strangers nor Mia could enter. Whenever I appeared within his view, he'd instantly turn and dip. Eventually, his buddies got fed up and secretly brought me to see him. When I got there, Jamie's frosty tone came through the door crack. Just a minor thing you call for. You're neither capable nor interesting. Interacting with you feels like I'm devaluing myself. I gripped the doorknob, but didn't push the door open further. Alex, standing behind me, quickly chimed in. Don't pay him any mind. He's just spouting nonsense because he's been drinking. I'll go give him a piece of my mind. He reached for the door, but I grabbed his wrist and shook my head. All I ever wanted was to ask Jamie why he was so against marrying me, especially since it had become the talk of our high society. Jamie and I grew up side by side, almost like siblings, though he's not my blood brother. Everyone's got to settle down someday, so why not me? Now, I finally get it. It's not that I'm lacking in any way. He's always seen me as nothing more than a pet he raised since we were kids. Something to entertain himself with, kill time, or just a nice presence around. As Alex dabbed my tears with a tissue, he mumbled, Dylan and the rest, just yapping nonsense, none of it makes sense. It's all good. I took a deep breath. Can you take me home? I don't want to see him anymore. All right, cool. Just as we were about to bounce, the door to the private room swung open from the inside. We froze, staring at Dylan, who had opened the door. Unaware of the tension, he pulled me inside. The meeting was meant to get Jamie and me to reconcile. Dylan placed me opposite Jamie. Even if you're clashing with your fam, don't treat Mia like this. She's someone we've watched grow up. You should communicate properly and not let this spiral into a misunderstanding. Since I stepped in, Jamie hadn't glanced my way once, but the back of his hand gripping his glass was already throbbing with veins. Alex walked in and subtly shook his head at Dylan. Before Alex could pull me up, Jamie finally spoke. Mia, why don't you ever listen to me? Didn't I say we shouldn't meet until Grandpa and my folks change their minds? Why are you so stubborn? I hung my head, lost for words. The room was dead silent. The last time Jamie was this heated was when a senior from his school confessed to me. Alex sighed and walked over to pat my head. Then he signaled the others to leave, leaving me alone with Jamie. Jamie irritably took a sip of his drink. Can't you have any self-respect? I told you I'm not interested in you. Never saw you as more than a girl. Instead of clinging to me, why don't you work on yourself? All you ever do is revolve around guys. Are you some desperate girl? When I take over the company and travel for meetings, I can't have you trailing me everywhere. It felt like I'd plunged into icy water, numb and drained, realizing this is how he's viewed me all these years. So stay away from me. Grandpa will probably call off this engagement soon anyway. I understood. Are you gonna have Alex and the others track me down again? I'm done making a scene. Memories of our entire life together flashed like a carousel. I used to treasure them dearly, but now I see how naive I was. I overlooked how Jamie became more impatient with me in high school. I ignored how he openly disliked my style and looks. I overlooked how, after he found out about the senior's confession, he said, someone could actually like her. I looked up at Jamie earnestly. Jamie, I really appreciate you saving me when I was little. From now on, I'll remember this. I won't bother you anymore. With that, I stood and left without looking back. At the mansion, I flicked on the lights. It was as empty as always. My parents were rarely home, and Grandpa lived up in the hills to chill and meditate. According to Jamie's mom, when I was born, there was only one nanny looking after me. When I was 3, one day the nanny left the door open while she went out to buy groceries. I ran out and fell in the middle of the street. Jamie, playing in the yard, heard me crying, and not knowing which family I belonged to, took me back to his house. For almost 10 years after that, I grew up alongside Jamie. We attended the same elementary, middle, and even college. When I was bullied for being antisocial, it was Jamie who stood up for me. He taught me to defend myself. Jamie was a bigger part of my life than my so-called parents ever were. I relied on him too much, so when he started dodging me, I panicked and searched everywhere, feeling like the world had become a scary, empty place. A year is a long time, but it felt even tougher than the previous 10 years. I sat at my computer, staring blankly at the email, saying my exchange student application was approved. The therapist suggested I change my environment and pick up new hobbies to distract myself. I had planned to tell Jamie, but when I thought about it, I couldn't help but laugh at myself. He'd probably rather I stay far away. When I left, I only texted my parents, knowing they wouldn't care. Arriving in Country Y, I awkwardly handled all the paperwork and found a place to rent. It wasn't as hard as I thought. While waiting for the school term to start, I toured nearby cities. Just like the therapist said, walking around and experiencing the world really shifts your perspective. Habits change too. After getting robbed 3 times and harassed countless times, I decided to learn martial arts. No one was going to protect me anymore. I had to learn to protect myself. 2 months after school began in Country Y, I suddenly got a call from Alex. "You went to Country Y without even telling us? We only found out because we ran into some of your classmates." "I'm just studying and taking a break. I'll be back in a few months. Don't worry." "So, how's life treating you? Is your place secure?" "Everything's cool, super safe." "Good. Why not tell Jamie? He has some friends here." "No need. I'm good. Don't want to bother anyone." "All right, but if anything comes up, hit me or Jamie up." In Jamie's office, Alex heard the call drop before switching off his phone. "She's all grown up." Jamie flicked his lighter, his face dark with annoyance. "You're the one who told her not to contact you." Alex casually lounged on the couch, looking at Mia's exchange student application form. "Not contacting you doesn't mean she can't call or text. Oh my gosh, just check your blacklist. You were the one who said you'd stop pretending and actually blocked her. So how's she supposed to reach you?" "If it were me, I wouldn't bother either." Alex rolled his eyes. He was Jamie's close friend and had watched Mia grow up. He knew a bit about Mia's family situation. She never had parental love, didn't talk much, and always clung to Jamie. But Jamie always said there was nothing romantic between us. Let them figure it out, Alex thought. After Alex left, Jamie rubbed his temple. He felt a knot of frustration, unsure how to handle it. It was worse than when he first saw all those portraits of himself in Mia's studio. Both families had pressured him into getting engaged to Mia. Mia was just a junior in college and had never been in a relationship. What could she possibly understand? Jamie swiped through his phone. After hesitating, he removed Mia's contact from his blacklist. Then he called his secretary, Lily, into his office. "Ma'am, Mia went to Country Y on her own." Lily raised an eyebrow, a fleeting smug look crossing her face before she quickly masked it. "This shows the tough love approach I suggested is working. Miss Mia never had proper guidance, and no one corrected her mistakes. She's a junior now, still only knows how to revolve around you. How is she ever going to make something of herself? A girl like that won't grow on her own unless you talk to her harshly. She'll never stand up and walk independently," Lily explained with a smile. "Plus, Miss Mia going abroad doesn't necessarily mean progress. She might be playing some cat and mouse game like in romance novels. I'm a woman too. Don't I know her little tricks? To correct her, you need to keep some distance." Jamie thought for a moment. "But she's never been far from home. Miss Mia is a junior in college. What could she possibly not know? I was younger than her when I went to college in a new city. No such thing as too many challenges. Girls don't need to be babied like this." Jamie paused, realizing Lily had a point. Maybe Mia had confused familial love with romantic feelings because she met so few guys. It was probably time for her to step out on her own. He told Lily to cancel his flight to Country Y and handle business matters instead. The shooting score had improved quite a bit since last time. After nodding to his coach, he set down the M1 rifle and rubbed his wrist. He quietly packed his stuff and cleared his mind. I had a combat class in the afternoon and needed to get back early in the evening. Otherwise, I might run into that annoying neighbor again. Just as I reached the door, a tall guy walked toward me. I quietly looked down to avoid him, but he walked right up and stopped. "Excuse me, are you Miss Mia?" "Yeah, and you are?" I looked up curious. The man in front of me was dressed in a sharp suit, exuding an air of authority. But when our eyes met, that oppressive vibe vanished. His eyes were a deep shade of green. "I'm Ethan. I'm a friend of Jamie's." "Oh, need something?" "Jamie mentioned you came here to study abroad. but he's a bit worried, so he asked me to look out for you. Your apartment isn't very safe. I've set up a place for you to stay. Want to move in? You can call Jamie if you want. Ethan gestured for me to follow him into a nearby cafe. He took out his phone and dialed a number. After a bit of small talk, he politely handed me the phone. Mia? Jamie said that Ethan's family business is connected to his, and he'll sort out your accommodations. You can ask him for help with anything you need daily. I steadied myself, hearing Jamie's familiar voice. It felt almost like before, when he wasn't avoiding me. Maybe it was time, or the distance between us, or perhaps the year apart made a difference. I wasn't as heartbroken as I'd thought. Okay, I get it. Thanks. There was a brief pause before Jamie spoke again. But don't be a doormat and cling to him. Learn to be independent and make some moves, all right? I know. After hanging up, I handed the phone back to Ethan. I followed him obediently to the car. Since they were business partners, Jamie must have promised Ethan something in return. For my safety abroad, I wouldn't argue with his plans. In the car, Ethan immediately called to have my luggage packed. Then he took me out for dinner. An hour later, the driver pulled up to a manor. Miss Mia, please. Thanks. I got out and saw the butler and a few maids waiting. Ethan gestured for me to follow him inside. You don't need to call me sir. I met you when you were 7 before I went abroad, and we've bumped into each other a few times. I looked up at him confused. Back then, you were playing hide and seek with Jamie and tripped over my leg. You sat on the ground crying, Ethan recalled, and the memory made him smile. He had been at Jamie's house with his dad at the time. As soon as they entered, a little girl ran straight into him. At that age, most kids would have cried loudly if hurt. But little Mia just touched her nose, sat on the ground blankly, and blinked as tears fell. Before he could comfort her, she wiped her own tears and muttered, "It doesn't hurt," then stood up and ran off. Thinking back, he figured she must have been in pain but had no one to comfort her. Jamie, that little rascal, was only 9 years old himself, and his parents had no time for the neighbor's kid. At the time, Ethan had even thought, if no one's gonna look after this kid, I might as well take her with me. He never expected that over 10 years later, he'd realize that childhood wish. Before I knew it, we reached the second floor. In a room to the right of the staircase, a man and a few maids were packing my luggage. The man stepped out to greet us. Sir, wasn't Miss Mia supposed to stay in a plain flat? Why the change? I looked up at Ethan. The tall man rubbed his nose. Oh, my cousin is moving in there soon, so I had to put Miss Mia up here for now. Got it. The next few days passed peacefully. Ethan had arranged a small studio for me on the 3rd floor. When I wasn't in class, I painted in the studio. Ethan often worked in the study. Sometimes he'd sit next to me and watch me paint, joking that he was collecting works of a future great artist. After learning I was practicing shooting and fighting, he even offered to be my coach. When he saw my simple athletic wear, he had a luxury brand send over a bunch of carefully coordinated outfits. He had great taste. I didn't even know I could look this good. I thought my life would stay peaceful forever. But one day, I noticed a different vibe in the manor. The butler knocked on my door. Miss Mia, the manor needs a deep clean. You'll need to stay in a hotel for a few days to a week. The driver and maids will be with you, so it won't disrupt your lifestyle. I scratched the door frame with my fingertips, hesitated, then couldn't help but ask, will he also be staying at the hotel? This situation feels familiar. Has Ethan tired of me too, after just 3 months here? He's going on a business trip. He'll personally pick you up when he returns. I clenched my fists, suppressing the bitterness rising in my chest, and replied, okay, when do we leave? Right now, if you're ready. I said I'd change clothes, then closed the door with a wry smile. It's fine. It's not like it's the first time. Reflecting on the past 3 months with Ethan, there were moments I felt like I'd met a kindred spirit. His quirky little habits combined with his takes on my paintings. Forget it. I don't want to think about it. Maybe he really does have something important to handle. I grabbed my backpack and went downstairs. Most maids had already left, and only the butler and driver were waiting at the door. Suddenly, an idea crossed my mind. Could it be that Ethan went bankrupt? I couldn't help but joke, ending up choking on my own spit. I gestured to the butler and ran to the kitchen for some water. I'm still not too familiar with this estate. It's not huge, but it's not small either. After drinking, I passed a slightly ajar room. From inside, I could faintly hear glass breaking. Didn't they say everyone left? Could it be Ethan's pet cat or dog? Couldn't be a person, right? Curiosity killed the cat. I went back to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and gently pushed open the door. Behind it was a staircase, leading down. Is this the basement? The light by the stairs was on, and there were beautiful paintings on the walls. I held my phone in one hand and the knife in the other, slowly walking down. There was another door at the bottom, exquisitely designed. I thought about stopping. What if there's danger? Just as I was about to leave, I heard a familiar sound. It was just a low groan, but I could tell it was Ethan's voice. I turned and pulled the door open. He was sitting on the floor, looking defeated. Shattered wine bottles scattered around, and Ethan's right hand was gripping a shard of glass. His left hand was a bloody mess from hitting the wall. I hesitated between running away and helping him. In the end, I chose to crouch by the door and call out to him. I wasn't totally scared, but a little. Ethan, you okay? Ethan froze, his body tense. Mia, how did you find this place? Didn't the butler take you away? He forced a smile, as gentle as usual, though his left hand was still trembling. I hesitated, regretting that I had called out. Well, I'll leave then. I won't bother you. Don't forget to take care of your injury. Just as I was about to close the door, he softly pleaded, Please don't go. Huh? I won't hurt you. Don't be afraid. I just had a nightmare and couldn't sleep. I'm a bit scared. Mia, can you stay with me for a while? I left the basement and saw the butler still at the door. Miss Mia, can you stay with me for a while? What are your plans? I'll stay and take care of him. He must have called you just now. All right. He doesn't have any serious conditions. It's just his mother's death anniversary is coming up. He has some psychological scars. I took the first aid kit and went back downstairs. I helped him onto the bed and dressed his wounds. Aren't you gonna ask? No, but if you want to talk, I'm here. It's nothing. All right. Ethan couldn't sleep, so I stayed with him, reading. After all, I often suffer from insomnia myself. Sometimes we'd watch a movie together on my tablet. 3 days later, Ethan was back to his usual self, pulling me out of the basement. The maids and butlers acted like nothing happened. But between Ethan and me, there was now a subtle shift in our feelings. Mia, can you do me a favor? I had just finished my final project in the art studio on the 3rd floor. Turning, I saw Ethan sitting beside me, a smile tugging at his lips. Of course. Ethan raised an eyebrow. I haven't even told you what the favor is. With your wealth and status, there's probably nothing I can help you get. I don't have a big social circle, so it's not like you need me to introduce you to anyone. The only thing I'm good for is maybe being your +1 to events. I shrugged. It's probably just to have me accompany you. Very smart. I want to invite you to my aunt's dinner party. My aunt loves introducing me to all the debutantes she knows, and I can never escape her clutches. I haven't had a close female friend in years, and now you're here. I readily agreed. Though I had no one to guide me growing up, I never lacked money or material things. So I taught myself everything I needed to know. That morning, Ethan personally delivered the gown to my room. It was a dreamy pink with intricate layers of tulle creating a voluminous skirt and the bodice adorned with flowers. It was both grand and playful. After changing, the stylist did my makeup and hair to match the gown. I stood on the 2nd floor, holding the hem of my dress. Ethan looked up from the couch when he heard the sound. When he saw me, his deep green eyes widened, and he couldn't hide his astonishment. He quickly walked upstairs, stopping a step below me. He gave a gentlemanly bow and extended his hand. This stunning princess, will you join me for dinner? I couldn't help but laugh. It's so childish. I placed my hand in his. As we were about to go downstairs, I noticed he hadn't moved. I looked up confused. Mia, this is the first time you've smiled since coming here. Do you know why I chose this dress for you? I shook my head. Don't let yourself wither because of people who can't appreciate you. You're already beautiful enough, inside and out. The dinner went smoothly. Ethan's aunt took a great liking to me, and there were none of the debutantes he had mentioned. After the opening dance, Ethan invited me onto the dance floor. Looks like your charm is missing. I was supposed to be your shield, but it seems I've been pretty useless. Ethan lowered his head. Isn't it because a certain lady is just too dazzling? I looked up into his deep eyes. They were quiet green, yet full of intensity. In the past few months, I sensed his feelings towards me changing. It wasn't pity, politeness, or even affection for a junior. It was acceptance, indulgence, and admiration. I don't know if this sounds too cheesy, but it's the best metaphor I can think of. Ethan's voice was deep, like a beautiful and elegant cello. I want to be a gardener, nurturing and watering a flower until it blooms, then dedicating my life to admiring and protecting its beauty until it fades. Suddenly, I felt his arms tighten around my waist, pulling me into his embrace. Sorry, I've lost control, Ethan apologized, but his hold on me didn't loosen. Your confession is really cliché. I complained, but I understood what he meant. When the song ended, I tried to break free from his grasp, but Ethan didn't follow the script. I had only taken a few steps when he grabbed my arm and lifted me off the ground, carrying me. People around us gasped in surprise. He carried me all the way out of the estate. Without a word, he walked straight to the car and ordered the driver to leave. The ride was silent. Back at Ethan's estate, he picked me up again, gently but firmly. He carried me through the foyer and all the way to the garden's center before finally setting me down. You didn't refuse me? Ethan finally shed his gentle facade. A man who fought to build an empire, how could he possibly be the gentle knight I imagined? What do you like about me? I stared into his eyes. Everything. The first time I saw you at the shooting club, I watched you from outside the door for a long time. You looked so fragile, like I could crush you with one hand, yet you were so fierce and captivating, unloved, insecure, and distrustful of anyone. Yet you could paint such clean, soulful pieces. Everything about you fits perfectly with my taste. The nanny who gave you sleeping pills when you were a child and would hit and scold you for the smallest things became a vegetable after a fall. The girls around Jamie who spread rumors about you each received anonymous threats. The neighbor downstairs who used to tease you in my country got caught by you when he tried to sneak a trash bag out, and you kicked him in the groin. So, you're clearly a little tiger, but you managed to pull off the role of a sweet little bunny without a hitch. I swatted away his hand that was touching my face. Tisk, he looked obsessed, almost like a creep. So what? I looked at the big wolf with a tail and sharp teeth. In the basement, you stayed with me for 3 days. At that time, I thought, how great it would be if you could always be by my side. Ethan's hand moved to my cheek and slowly drifted down to my neck, tightening slightly. It felt like my life was in his hands, strong, possessive. Be my other half, Mia. I can be your family, your friend, your lover, everything you need. You'll have all my love, and I'll belong to you completely. My wealth, my family, my body, my soul, my life. At that moment, time seemed to stop. I was captivated by his words. All my love. I heard my own voice. Yes. Then I was pulled into his arms, the one who seemed to control my entire world. A domineering, desperate kiss landed on my lips. It felt like he was giving me oxygen, but also like he wanted to consume my entire soul. The next morning, I was awakened by my phone ringing. I always keep my phone on silent, and since moving to Country Y, the only number I've shared is Ethan's. The ringtone annoyed me. I was about to get up and toss my phone when a hand touched my face. It gently soothed me, making me release the bite I had on my lower lip. Ethan's voice sounded in my ear. It's okay. It's my phone. After speaking, he picked it up and glanced at the screen. He neither hung up nor answered. I opened my eyes as I lay in Ethan's arms and looked up. He raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. It's Jamie. Are you gonna pick it up? He lowered his head and kissed me lightly. Give it to me. I rolled my eyes. So childish, Ethan. I heard you took Mia to the ball yesterday. Thanks for looking out for her. Mia's not used to these kinds of events. She didn't cause any trouble, did she? I cleared my throat. I didn't cause any trouble for Ethan. I was very obedient. I'd been obedient enough to end up in bed with him. I sneered at myself for being so dizzy from being charmed by the man yesterday. Mia? I guess you're the one calling, so Ethan gave the phone to me. Good habit of getting up early. Keep it up. Jamie probably thought we were already up for breakfast. I didn't want to explain. Okay. After a few meaningless pleasantries, Jamie hung up. Jamie was standing on the golf course with a few friends. Liam was grinning proudly. I told you so. Yesterday, my sister went to Ethan's aunt's dinner party and recognized Mia right away. Jamie looked at the call screen on his phone, his expression dark and unreadable. Do you have pictures? Yeah, my sister sent them to me. Mia has never looked so beautiful. Did you forbid her from dressing up? Liam, clueless as ever, was still joking around. Let me see the pictures. Jamie's voice turned completely cold. Oh, okay. Liam quickly pulled up the chat history, but Jamie snatched the phone away from him. Liam's sister had sent more than 10 photos. There were some of them entering the venue arm in arm, others dancing in the ballroom, and a few of Ethan holding Mia in his arms as they left. Liam's sister had also sent a few messages. Look at these two. They're definitely together, right? Mom even told me to go meet Ethan, but turns out he's already taken. Not gonna lie, Mia is really beautiful. Jamie hasn't fallen for her after all these years. He's a real brother. Jamie's face grew darker and darker. You better be careful with my phone or it's gonna get bent. Liam scrambled to retrieve his phone. Alex also saw the pictures and sighed, trying to comfort Jamie. Mia looks really good in a gown. She's willing to go to parties now, so that's progress. Progress, huh? Jamie swatted Alex's hand off his shoulder and gritted his teeth. Ethan. After being with Ethan, I suddenly felt like the whole world had changed. The day after we confirmed our relationship, Ethan handed me the property transfer documents. All the properties under his name, including the estate we lived in, he added my name to them. And his company, most of it was transferred to me. Are you out of your mind? In the study, Ethan sat in the office chair. I was sitting on his lap, flipping through the stack of property transfer documents. What if I hadn't agreed to be with you? We're not married yet. What if I just took the money and ran? I turned to look at the man with a smile on his face, amused. Yeah, I'm crazy. Crazy for crazy. We're a perfect match. Also, baby, the way you look so surprised is like a little kitten. It's so cute. I'm thinking about what else I should give you. I quickly covered his mouth. So cheesy. But I guess I chose you, so I'll spoil you. This will be our home from now on. Ethan buried his head in my neck. I watched the sunlight spill into the study, and the air felt sweet. I took a deep breath, inhaling that sweetness. Yes, I had never been so happy in my life. We have a home now. We were still lost in our little world of happiness when my phone rang again. Since the last time Ethan found out about my ringtone phobia, he changed all my ringtones to songs he hummed. Honestly, Ethan's voice is really soothing for me. I picked up the phone and saw it was a WeChat call. The caller ID was my mom. Don't worry about me. You can pick it up. Ethan kissed my ear from behind. I steadied myself and answered the call. Mia, when are you coming back to the country? In 5 months, Jamie's grandpa is having a birthday party next week. You should go back for it. Okay. Are you having problems with Jamie? No. Then why is he calling me? Don't bother me with these trivial matters again. Okay, I stared at the phone, still dazed after the call ended. Ethan? What's wrong? I think I'm not sad anymore. I don't even care why she hates me now. Ethan turned me to face him. He stroked my hair, then kissed my forehead. You're the best. I touched my forehead, and before I knew it, tears started to fall. I cried into his arms, completely broken. Let it out. You'll never have to suffer again. I returned with Ethan the day before Jamie's grandpa's birthday. I took him to stay at my family's villa. After Ethan saw Jamie's portrait in my studio, he was jealous all night. I promised him I'd paint more for him in the future to calm him down. When Ethan and I arrived at the banquet hall, there were already a lot of people. Before we even saw Jamie and his family, Ethan was surrounded by a group of people. I quietly slipped out of the crowd. I found a quiet corner and ate a small cake. Miss Mia? I looked up to see Lily, the secretary, wearing a white strapless gown. She was the woman I hated the most, no exceptions. Lily, as if she didn't see me roll my eyes at her, sat down beside me. You actually came back. I thought you didn't have the guts to ditch Jamie anymore. She swirled her wine and quietly expressed her malice toward me. A girl should have some self-respect. Don't shamelessly hang around Jamie. You have no idea how much his mom dislikes you. You're just a wild girl with no proper upbringing, proposing engagement just to save Jamie's grandpa's reputation. You're nothing more than an amusing toy for him. I'm the one who deserves to stand beside Jamie. With your slutty look, you must dream of being Jamie's little wife, huh? I glanced at the small cake I was holding. I had no appetite anymore. Lily knew I had severe psychological issues. She had provoked me with her words before. In the past, when Jamie distanced himself from me, I was extremely insecure, so her provocations had worked. But this time, her true colors were finally exposed. I felt disgusted, wanting to hit her. But I couldn't ruin Jamie's grandpa's birthday party. I stood up, intending to distance myself from her. Just ignore it. Let her bark like a dog. But she grabbed my wrist and pushed me. Ah? Her wine spilled all over her dress. Miss Mia, I don't have any improper intentions toward Mr. Jamie. You don't need to be hostile toward every woman around him. Lily raised her voice, drawing the attention of most people in the hall. I turned around, sensing something. Sure enough, Jamie was helping his grandpa out of the room. His mom was right behind them. What's going on now? Jamie frowned, glancing at Lily's wine-stained dress, and questioned me. His mom also spoke disapprovingly. Today is Jamie's grandpa's birthday, and you're not even his fiancé yet. You can't be acting like this. Have I taught you nothing? Jealousy in public. How petty. Jamie's grandpa also frowned and knocked his cane loudly. You need to go back and reflect on your behavior. I'll have to discipline you for your grandpa. What? What is this situation? Are they acting out some melodramatic soap opera with me? The plot is so cliché that even some mindless short dramas would be embarrassed to film it. I was stunned by their words. Mia! Ethan rushed over from the other side of the hall. His face was dark with anger. I quickly took his hand and shook it. It's fine, I'll handle it. Lily, looking aggrieved, walked to stand behind Jamie. His mom comforted her by patting her hand. When you have nothing to say, you really do end up laughing. I ignored their accusations against me. Calmly, I took out the recorder from my bag, turned it on, and cranked up the volume. You have no idea how much Jamie's mom dislikes you. You're just a wild girl with no proper upbringing. I'm the one who deserves to stand beside Jamie. With your slutty look. Don't act all high and mighty. This glass of wine can easily make you leave. The hall instantly fell silent, as if you could hear a pin drop. People around us went from curiosity to disdain. Jamie and his family's faces turned as colorful as a palette. Lily's face went pale as she slowly released her grip on my hand. Someone nearby laughed softly. People started whispering. Who said they're spoiling Mia? Look how harshly they've been bullying her. Wasn't it Jamie who proposed the engagement first? Maybe they think Mia's family is decent and easy to control. Indeed, Mia's from a scholarly family. It's blatant bullying. They must be taking advantage of her parents working abroad. Still, that girl's pretty and sharp-witted. I raised a professional fake smile and turned off the recorder. I've been bullied since I was a child, and now I'm fully alert. The recorder is an essential everyday item for me. Who is the secretary you brought with you? Here to ruin my birthday party? The elderly man swung his cane at Jamie's leg. His mom came over and grabbed my hand. Oh, it's my fault. I was too hasty, afraid Mia might pick up some bad habits outside. I've always treated you like my own daughter. I nodded perfunctorily, pulling my hand away without leaving a trace. What was that about engagement? Jamie and I are purely siblings. Neither of us agreed to anything, so don't make things up. I blinked innocently, then looked at Jamie, who wore a gloomy expression. Right, Jamie, my brother. Your secretary is terrifying. If I hadn't brought the recorder, you'd have framed me with your lies. I'm not even married, and you're already making up rumors about me. How rude. The people in front of me didn't dare say a word. Thinking I'm an easy target? Even good-natured people have their breaking points. I let out a barely audible cold snort and turned to take the hand of the man who was looking at me with affection. Darling, did I do something wrong? Why do they all dislike me so much? I was planning to introduce them to my boyfriend, too. Ethan pulled me into his arms and kissed my head. Then let's stay away from these people. Okay. Ethan lifted his head, wiped the smile off his face, and looked at them. Since we're not welcome here, Mia and I will leave. Without waiting for a response, he wrapped his arm around me and led me out. Mia, wait! Jamie finally spoke, trying to stop me. But Ethan and I exchanged a glance and smiled at each other, not slowing down. Back at my place, as soon as we walked in, Ethan pushed me against the door. Like a hungry wolf, he kissed my lips, urgently invading. My mind went blank, my head tilted back as I let him show his overwhelming affection. I didn't know how much time passed before he reluctantly pulled away, still kissing me lightly. Do you know how beautiful you are? The way you bite like a little rabbit, how can that be so alluring? Tell me, did you slip me some kind of love potion? I pushed him away, blushing. When he's serious, he looks like a cold, handsome CEO, but when he's in love, he's passionately intense. But I really liked it. What I craved most was this open, shameless love. I wrapped my arms around Ethan's waist and buried my head in his chest. Maybe it's because I have you behind me that I dare to be so bold. I'm originally a dark-hearted, vengeful woman. Now that I have a strong backer, anyone who crosses me will get a bite from me. He laughed so hard his chest shook, hugging me even tighter. Good, you can't bite enough. I'll help you bite. When I woke up the next day, it was already noon. Dazed, I finished washing up and went downstairs, where I found Ethan wearing an apron, cooking in the kitchen. I watched him skillfully cook and chop vegetables, then wrapped my arms around his waist from behind. Did you sleep well? Mm-mm. Good, we'll eat soon. I was about to lean over to see what he was making when I heard the doorbell ring. I ran to open it. It was Jamie. I gently closed the door, turned around, and met his gaze. About what happened yesterday. I'm sorry. Jamie's voice was hoarse, and if you looked closely, there were dark circles under his eyes. I nodded, but I wasn't about to say it was fine. Here's a quote to consider. If apologies worked, why would we need the police? Is there anything else? I wanted to go back and eat brunch. Were you and Ethan trying to make me angry? We shouldn't drag others into our issues, and Ethan is very busy every day. Please don't bother him all the time. I'm not trying to make you angry. Ethan is my boyfriend, not just anyone. He's my man. I looked him in the eye and explained seriously. Jamie was stunned, his eyes widening in disbelief. His voice rose. You and him? Do you even know what you're doing? He's 3 years older than me. I shrugged. Yeah, he's 6 years older than me. Isn't that age gap pretty normal? He doesn't treat me like a child. Jamie still had that expression of disbelief, then frowned and grabbed my arm. No way. I struggled hard but couldn't break free. Why? Do you even know? Don't try to cause trouble. Let go of me. Do you know that his family is dysfunctional? I froze for a moment, slightly stunned. What? Do you know that Ethan's mom was driven to death by his dad? Ethan's dad was a control freak, locked his mom up at home for 10 years. Later, his mom got severe depression, and one moment she was greeting Ethan downstairs, and the next, she jumped out Ethan downstairs. And the next, she jumped out the window and died in front of him. He saw his mom die. His dad is a control freak, and so is he. Do you know how ruthless he can be? In white country, those who betray him face terrifying consequences. How dare you? Jamie's eyes were red, and he shook me by the shoulders. I know. I looked down and smiled. I know, big brother. I could feel it when I first met him. What? Jamie looked like he didn't understand what I was saying. At first, he made all my decisions, what to eat, what to wear, how to balance school and hobbies. Everything was perfectly arranged. Later, I had to report to him who I met, what to wear, how to balance school and hobbies. Everything was perfectly arranged. Later, I had to report to him who I met, what time I'd be home. But isn't that exactly what I wanted? He's a control freak, and I have an anxious personality. We're a perfect match. He never minded me being clingy, never thought I was antisocial or friendless. When I had no opinions, he could make decisions for me. I took his hand off my shoulder. Ethan feels like my natural other half. Before, I always dreamed of having someone who would make me their center, care for me, love me, and give me a sense of security. Life is short. If I've met someone who fits me perfectly, why should I force myself to change? Besides, I can feel that we're both getting better. He changed. Mia must wake up at 7 to sleep well before waking up. He encourages me to do everything I want. Even if I'm about to fall, he's there to catch me, and my dependence on him gives him a sense of belonging to this world. He's no longer that cold businessman driven by the world. He's no longer that cold businessman driven by profit. He's no longer the one who would hurt himself and hide in the basement when things didn't go his way. We are each other's home. Thinking about it, I really want to go back to our room and hug Ethan. I used to cling to you too much, causing you a lot of trouble. I get upset and hurt when you misunderstand me, but I'm still grateful for the care you've given me since childhood. After watching Jamie leave, I immediately opened the door. Ethan was standing less than 10 steps away, looking down at his phone. When he heard the door open, he immediately smiled and opened his arms. I laughed and ran into his embrace. "What's this you made? It smells so good." He smoothly lifted me and carried me to the dining room. "The dish you love most, but I added green peppers. Your last checkup showed you're anemic, so you need to replenish iron." But I don't like green peppers." "No, at least eat one bite. I chopped the peppers really fine and fried them soft. You won't even taste them." "Well, I'll just eat a little." "Good girl." We didn't rush back to Country Y. On the private racetrack in B-City, a black and a red sports car were neck and neck. The wheels spun at high speed. The engine roared across the entire track. In the end, the black car's driver edged out the red car by 1 second, crossing the finish line first. After stopping, the drivers, a man and a woman, got out of the cars. I won. Ethan leaned against the car door and motioned for the red car's driver to come closer. I jumped into his arms and bit his exposed neck. I could taste the salty sweat. The adrenaline was still pumping, and I was thrilled. We kissed passionately. "Next time, I'll beat you for sure." This time was just luck. I'll work harder. My opponent is just too strong. Okay. We also attended a few auctions. Ethan got obsessed with a few items he wanted, and I'd raise the paddle and bid for them, then give them to him as gifts, though they were all bought with his money. In the bar's VIP room. "Drink less, you're almost alcohol poisoned." Alex grabbed the bottle from Jamie's hand. "Trying to wake up the drunk man. Why? What?" Alex leaned in to listen. "Why hasn't Mia contacted me? She hasn't asked me to watch movies, read books, or draw with her in a long time. None of those women are as beautiful or as obedient as Mia." Lily, I fired her. She deliberately tried to stir things up and made Mia run off to another country. Mia. I regret it." Jamie covered his face with both hands, tears seeping through his fingers. Alex irritably lit a cigarette. As Jamie's best friend, I always knew Jamie's feelings for Mia were more than brotherly love. But back then, even if I pointed it out, Jamie wouldn't have believed me. So I did my best to stop Jamie from hurting Mia. Now the result is something Jamie brought on himself. People only realize how precious things they took for granted were after they've lost them. People only realize how precious things were once they're gone. Early in the morning, Ethan gazed adoringly at his wife in his arms. It had been 7 years since their marriage, and Mia had become even more captivating with time. They ventured into new areas together, applied to the same university, enjoyed their college years, and had a romantic campus love story. After graduation, they traveled together and did charity work. They even documented the stories of their journey. They had been resting at the estate for 3 months, and next month, they planned to head to Antarctica. There was so much to prepare in the meantime. Ethan found joy in every moment of it. Over the years, Mia had completely cut ties with her parents. He had heard that they divorced and each started their own family. As for why her parents never loved her, Ethan thought it probably didn't matter to Mia anymore. Some truths are too painful, and in their story, there was no need for answers about the past. Even if the truth were known, it wouldn't change anything. It would only bring unnecessary trouble. As for Jamie, his story was even more complicated, and even now, it was still a tangled mess. He had married Lily. Unbelievable, right? Yes, it was very unbelievable. Back then, Lily had drugged Jamie while he was drunk. Afterward, she ran off to the countryside. She gave birth to a boy and raised him until he was 5, before bringing the child to Jamie. Under the pressure of his grandpa and parents, they got married. But there was no wedding ceremony. After the marriage, Lily kept using Jamie's money to support her own parents. Later, Jamie and his family discovered that Lily had 3 younger brothers. They used their position as Jamie's brothers-in-law to mess up Jamie's company. But by the time Jamie realized, it was too late to regret. It was said that now, they're fighting for a divorce. Lily was demanding a huge portion of Jamie's wealth, unwilling to let go without a fight. Jamie's mom somehow got Mia's new phone number, but it was Ethan who answered. He had been authorized by Mia to manage her social contacts. No one could interfere with their lives. At that thought, Ethan checked the time. It was almost time for Mia to wake up. They were going out for breakfast today. He'd need to help Mia choose her outfit. The wisteria flowers were in full bloom outside, so perhaps today they'd wear matching purple outfits. Ethan leaned down and kissed Mia's forehead. "Good morning, my love, my other half."